how's it going? Jesse here in Dublin, Ireland. And in this video, I want to talk about a subject that's literally quite overwhelming for me to talk about because it's a very deep subject that I've been studying for about over a year now. And the rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper and deeper into it. But what I found with this has been so profound and it has benefited my life so much that I want to bring more awareness to this topic that could very greatly benefit men and women. So what this topic is, it's king, warrior, magician, lover, the 4 archetypes within the male brain or the male psyche to live a balanced life. Now, when I say king, warrior, magician, lover, this also applies to women as well. So you can think of it as queen, warrior, magician, lover. So I'm going to be speaking for men. So when I address king, just think if you're a woman, think queen. Now, king, warrior, magician, lover. And these are the 4 archetypes that are living within our psyche. So how I'm going to structure this video, I'm going to cut it into different segments. So one, I'm going to be talking about king, and then the warrior, then the magician, and then the lover, and then the last conclusion portion, I'm going to try to summarize it all up and how they all correspond and how you can apply it to your own life. So let's get right into it. So let's talk about the king archetype within the male psyche. And when I think about a movie character that really embodied this king aspect, I think of, if you ever watched the movie Thor, Thor is actually very much of a warrior. He's very young and naive, he has a lot of power, he's always go, 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 go. But when you think about his father, I don't know his name, but think about Thor's father and in his position in this movie. He's very, he's already put like years, decades of years creating his kingdom. And when you think about kings, they're very, they just give like a vibe off of about themselves where you feel safe in their presence. And when it comes to kings, they create their kingdom. They run a kingdom. They have strong boundaries. They know their values and what they will accept and what they won't accept within their kingdom and their people. And kings are usually contributing back to their community. And when I think about my king aspect, it's quite strong actually. Kings always have a vision of how their life will play out to be. And I've been lucky enough to be living my dream lifestyle for over 5 years now, because I got in touch with my king at 19 years old, and I knew what I wanted my kingdom to look, how I wanted my lifestyle to look like. And I accessed my warrior to put in the work to make that vision, the king vision, play out. And when you think about kings, and for you to access your king, I think of the design aspect of your life. So if you're someone who's stuck in a 9-to-5 job and you're really hating it, and you know you have this vision of what you want your life to be, to look like, but you don't go after it, you're almost stepping down and not pursuing it, that's a huge sign that your king aspect of the psyche is very weak and that you need to strengthen it and get in touch with it. Now, activities for you to get in touch with your king, I think of like brainstorming, visualization, goal setting. This is what I'm thinking when I think about the king aspect. They have this grand vision of what their life will look like, what their kingdom will be played out to be. So if you're really unhappy with your life, you need to do these type of activities. So some activities I'd done back in the day to access my king was I created a vision board. And if you don't know what a vision board is, it's basically you just go on the internet, grab pictures of everything you want how your life to look like. When I think about my vision board in 2000, 2012, 2011, I put a lot of photos of all different locations throughout the world. I put photos of business class seats. I put photos of sushi, type of luxury things I wanted. I actually had a MacBook Pro that I wanted because I wanted to use that for video editing. So to get back in touch with this king, you need to do things like that, like visualization, create vision boards, and plan out what you want to do. And then the king, though he's sitting on his throne, he has people that work for him. And this is when other archetypes come into play, such as the warrior, the magician, and the lover. So the king would tell the warrior to execute XYZ task to make this vision come true. And then he would seek the magician to acquire the knowledge to make the right calls. And then the lover, the thing is, the archetypes complement each other in the sense of warriors complement lovers. They help balance each other out. And the magicians and the king balance each other out. So basically, for you to strengthen your king aspect, you need to really think about that dream life that you've always wanted. Make it super vividly clear, because the more clear you get, you'll know exactly how to get there.
You notice there's a change of scene because I basically fucked up the other clip, and now I'm in Thailand. I shot the other clip in Dublin. Actually, we didn't even shoot the clip. We forgot to film the clip. We kind of messed up. We just jumped over to the next one, and I thought it was complete, and then I realized maybe like a few days later that I don't have that clip of the warrior. So now I'm reshooting it now. So let's get into it. So if I can remember, we're talking about like movie characters that are a good representation of each archetype. So I've thought about it. It's hard to find a movie character that represents the warrior, but I'm just gonna use a samurai, because a samurai I really think it's like the perfect character to embody the warrior, as their line of work is really that. And when you view a samurai, they have a duty to fulfill. They're very emotionless. They have like a higher purpose to fulfill, to listen to the king, to help his people. And this is something that you very much have to embody when you access your inner warrior. And today you're not an actual warrior killing people with knives and samurai swords and shit like that, but you do it in different ways from day to day. So one of the best examples I can think of is like if you're in like a grinding period where you're working on your business, or if you're going to the gym or something like that, trying to get into fitness, get into health, get into shape. And yeah, when you think about these warrior phases, like you're so focused on this one task and nothing else matters. You're willing to sacrifice a lot, other luxuries, just to get this task done and complete. And when you access this, you can really like strive for that end goal objective and keep on going at it. Even when you have thoughts of like, oh, I'm getting tired, you push through it. You're like, nope, I'm gonna keep on going. You have like a duty to fulfill, and you can access your warrior when you in like on a macro scale. You can do like little business phases or whatever, but also on micro scales, how I get in touch with my warrior is I picked up Muay Thai. It's quite a violent sport, to punch things and elbow things, kick things, cut things up with your elbows, and it's very violent. But I use that to get in touch with my inner warrior, to kind of cultivate and control that such a dark energy, so to speak. That's something that you really need to learn to cultivate, because if you don't cultivate that violent energy, it can really get out of hand. And you can, if you don't do a martial arts, you can always think of it like you're going to the gym. Going to the gym is very much like a warrior. You have like an end goal objective, and you're going after it with everything you can, and you don't give a fuck about anything else. You just solely focus on that. And yeah, these are the things that a warrior embodies. So let's jump into the next clip.
So in this portion of the video, we're going to talk about the magician. And now when I think about magician, a movie character that really pops up and comes to mind is Dumbledore from Harry Potter. So I'm pretty sure you've seen the movie before. And when you think about Dumbledore, he's a very old, wise guy that everyone goes to. He's very centered in himself. He never like super emotional. He has always that right piece of advice to give to whoever's going to him for advice. And when you think about the magician, the characteristics of a magician is they're very wise, they're very intelligent, they're very, very well read, they're very knowledgeable. People go to the magician, these type of characters, for advice in certain areas of their life. They have a problem, they need to seek help in whatever they need help with. And when I think how the phases when I'm in touch with my magician, it's usually, I have a very strong magician actually. I love reading, I love learning, because I feel I'm very naive in the head. I don't know too much things. I know there's so much more things out there that I need to learn. So the activity I do day to day is reading. Before I start my day, I get coffee, I read for like an hour or two on various different subjects. It depends what I'm trying to, what I want to learn a lot about. So at the moment, I'm very fascinated by evolutionary psychology and understanding the root reason why we behave the way we do. Because I've just been in a lot of social environments and I see recurring themes happening. So I want to get down to the root of that all. So for you to access your magician, you have to do things like this. You have to be in a position where you're craving knowledge. You want to learn from mentors. You want to watch seminars. You want to read books. Because the thing about a lot of people these days lack the magician, because I feel the education system has almost conditioned us to hate educating ourselves. Because if you think back to elementary, middle school, high school, all the way up to college, they're usually jamming subjects down your throat that you have absolutely no interest in at all. But that's a very bad way to condition one's mind with education. But if you do the self-education route, which I've done due to the travels, because I just have a lot of free time to learn about the things I want to, and no one's like force-feeding me to learn about XYZ subject. So like I just said before, I'm interested in evolutionary psychology because I see a correlation with in the social environments I'm in, and I want to know why. So you have to find that buy-in. So whatever phase you are in life, whatever you feel that you're lacking of in a certain department of knowledge, there's people out there that has so much years and decades of experience, and they put it in this packet form of a book for you to learn from. And then they took a lot, like years, to cut out the fluff, the fat, so you can say, and give you all the good root golden nuggets of it. So this is how you get in touch with the magician, is by acquiring knowledge. Because when you have a strong magician, the magician can help the king archetype. So when the king needs more wisdom and advice and guidance on how to run his kingdom, he goes to the magician for that advice, so he can make the best decision at the time. So in this portion, we're going to talk about the lover. And when I think about a lover, a movie character, I think about, if you watch the movie Troy, there's a prince, his name is, what's his name? Paris, from Paris of Sparta. And this character is Orlando Bloom in the movie. So with him, I really feel the lover in him, because he ends up stealing Helen from Troy's. So imagine the king of Troy, he steals his wife, and then steals the wife and then brings Helen of Troy back to Sparta with him.
And when I think about Paris, he's very much the lover because all he cares about is just like feelings. He's not, even though he's a prince and he should be like next in line to run the throne, all he cares about is like sleeping with women and feelings and all this stuff. It's just to an extreme level. And when I think about characteristics of the lover, they have a lot of empathy for others. A lot. They can feel the pain. So when you hear a story of someone going through a breakup or someone who won a championship, they can really step into the shoes of the person telling the story and feel it within themselves because they're that good at being the lover. And lovers are very preoccupied with things that luxuries. They just want to lay around all day and have someone move a fan over them while we're feeding them grapes. They're very relaxed individuals. That's really it. They relax quite a lot. And when I think about the lover aspect of myself, I'm the most in touch with my lover, as weird as it sounds, is in nightclubs. Because it took a long time for me to develop social skills and build up more self-confidence. Many years. It's very humbling whenever I think about it. And for me to enter a nightclub and just have so much fun, and literally there's really no rules when I'm out there. I'm quite different whenever I'm out in a nightclub. All my personal friends call my alter ego Drunk Jesse, and he just has a whole mind of his own. It's very different from who I am speaking to you today. Very deep thinking, very intellectual, but as soon as I start partying, that completely goes out the window. You probably think I'm the most biggest idiot if you ever seen me. And there's videos on my other YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description or whatever, put a little tag or whatever. You can see me during my party phase. I was very much in my party phase. I think about my lover phases. There was a time when I went 94 nights out in a row. Just kept on partying, and I was completely ignoring the warrior, which was trying to get the business done so I can keep on traveling and finance my trip. But the lover side of me was just overtaken by everything, just ignored everything. It just decided to, you know what, you want to go around, chase girls and party and have so much fun. And it varies from individuals that have this lover aspect. So some people don't like going to nightclubs, so it depends on what you like to do the most. So think about maybe you enjoy lying on the beach and just tanning. This is when you feel the most relaxed, at ease, at peace with the world. So it really depends on yourself, but you have to find different things. That's just like you have to do some self-exploration and find whatever activities you do that make you feel most like laid back, relaxed. Like that's the general vibe you're seeking for to get back in touch with your lover. And then you can have romantic, intimate moments with your partner. That's a very lover aspect of it too. If you feel like you're neglecting in that area and you want to strengthen it. So you have to do some deep discovery and feel it. When I talk about these archetypes, you literally have to feel. You have to go from one archetype to the next, and they'll tell you what you need, what balance you need in life, and then you feel one part of your archetype feel like overworked. If you ever felt burnt out, this is the warrior. You've been working way too much. You've been grinding away. You've been hitting the gym all the time, and sometimes people are too immersed into the warrior aspect where they get burnt out, and next thing you know, they just need to get back in touch with the lover and do things that they enjoying life and such and such. So for me to conclude this entire video, I want you to think about a boardroom. Think about the seat of the CEO, and then there's members of his team within the company sitting amongst themselves. So there's 5 chairs. The CEO chair is your ego. And then the 4 other seats are going to be the archetypes. And now the CEO, and I'm just going to go back to the concept of all this, the ego, seeks advice from each archetype. So what a good example is this. You have to imagine yourself the ego, and you have to look at your entire life and see what
what advice you need from each archetype. What do you feel that's missing from your life? So I hinted it throughout this entire video how there's different phases of my life where I felt I was too much of the lover. So I needed to get back in touch with the warrior so I can balance things out. And then there's times when I was too much of the warrior and I need to balance myself out with the lover. That's the thing, these archetypes balance each other out. And that's what you need to be doing for the rest of your life, is being in that CEO position, asking these archetypes, what do I need in my life to seek more balance? And this comes from a macro level and a micro level. So on a micro level, actually my archetypes and how they work within myself, they're actually quite balanced. They're very balanced. I've been told this by people who understand this topic much deeper than myself, and they tell me I have all the aspects working very well for myself. And on a micro scale, how I access my king, I'm always have this vision of what I want to contribute back to others, my values, and I have very strong boundaries within my kingdom. And if you're not living amongst my values and within my these boundaries of mine, I have no problem cutting people out of it without question. There's no hesitation. That's when I access my warrior to be that relentless asshole that would just cut them out, emotionless and just done. At the same time, the king would seek advice and wisdom from the magician. Like, oh, am I making the right move? Am I being too hard, like cold-hearted or whatever? But the magician would be like, no, not at all. You've had this happen to you many times in the past. Don't happen again. You already learned from the experience. So that king with all that advice is feeding that knowledge and wisdom to the king to make the call for the warrior to execute on. And the lover's probably taking the back seat. He's just sitting back and just, I don't know, eating grapes, being fed grapes or something like that. So on a micro level, like I was talking about, I'm always moving towards those goals, and my warrior's executing all that. In the magician, I told you in the other clip how I read about an hour or 2 hours a day right before I start my day. And the lover, I would say, even though out of these 4 archetypes I'm very well balanced, I would say if I had a weak spot, it would be the lover. I kind of feel guilt when I allow myself to relax, because I'm almost too much warrior. So for me to access my lover, I'm starting to, funny enough, just sit around and do absolutely nothing, because I sometimes feel like I'm always go. I have to use my time. And for example, when I've been accessing my lover, I think about the moment when I'm in Bali. There's a hammock I usually lay on, and if you ever follow me on my Instagram, I posted up a lot of videos or photos of my feet on a hammock looking out into the distance where the sunset is in the yard. And that's something that I'm allowing myself to do and when you think about the lover is healing the warrior. So imagine a warrior goes out into battle, fucking kills, relentless, no emotions, and when he comes back home, the lover aspect is one healing him and nurturing him and making sure he can be relaxed and he's feeling rejuvenated to go back into war. So now let's view things on a macro scale. So if you start viewing your life in seasons, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this one, there's seasons where you're just like go. You have to put in the work. It's just grind. You don't care about anything else. You don't care about going out. You don't care about anything. All you want to do is just work, and that's it. And there's sometimes when you're fully in touch with your lover where you're almost consumed with too much luxury and you're getting too comfortable, and other areas of your life, that vision of the king starts falling down. The warrior is becoming like a little weakling, and the magician is becoming very dumb. So there's different seasons to this, but at the same time, you need, on an overall life basis, it's understandable that you are going through these seasons of the warrior and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, you want to have a very well balanced macro balance of all the archetypes. And to conclude, this topic goes so much more deeper. What I just talked about throughout this video are the mature masculine archetypes, okay? But the thing is, when I say it goes much deeper, each archetype has shadow aspects to it, bipolar sides. So if we talk about the king, they have a tyrant and also a something child. So when I think about a tyrant, the movie character that pops up to mind is like Loki from Thor. I also think of like if the new movie King Arthur, where Jude Law plays the king. He doesn't care about his people. He's just all full of himself. The kingdom's dying slowly from the inside, and little things like this. And that child is more of like a little whiny baby. He thinks like everyone's there to serve him, and he doesn't care about others. So like I said, it goes much deeper. I'm not sure if I'm going to release other videos on that, but overall, this is a good summary and a good introduction into King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, the four archetypes living within the male psyche to live a balanced life. So I hope you enjoy this video. This is like a massive seed. I threw a lot of seeds at you. Just start noticing it throughout your life, and you start to see these archetypes becoming full characters within your psyche that you can access and live a balanced life. So I hope you enjoy that video. Jesse signing off here, and I'll see you next time.